Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. We want to say that this episode is brought to you by our platinum sponsor, Matter Behavioral Health at 265 State Street in Mount Pleasant, 435-462-2781. So if you have a loved one or a friend that is battling with addiction and is looking for a really good behavioral health center, we highly, highly recommend Matter Behavioral. They are a bunch of really good people. So, and as I say pretty much every week, I'm just a lucky dude, man. I always get to be surrounded here with lovely women. So we've got Janessa and we've got Shalise here in the studio with us today. So ladies, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to spend with me. And normally Brad's here, but he'll probably pop in here sooner or later.
Absolutely.
Hey, we got a great guest with you today. So we have Chris Dorris. Chris, how you doing?
You know what? This is the best damn day of my life, as a matter of fact.
I love it. So, some of you have seen the show that we did with Labian Ditchburn, and Labian, I just love that guy. He is such a phenomenal man and human being. But after the show, he was telling us about some people that we should reach out to, and Chris was one of them. And Chris and I chatted, gosh, I don't know, it was probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and Chris was telling me a little bit about what he does, and he didn't know if it was a fit for the show, but I mean, this guy does some really cool stuff, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, I think you're a great fit for the show. So why don't you share with our audience a little bit more about you, Chris?
Okay. Well, I refer to myself these days as a mental toughness coach, and that often requires some explanation. Because when I say that, most people say, what the hell does that mean? And I can answer a lot of ways, but one of my favorite ways is saying, I teach people the stuff that we didn't learn in grade school or high school or college or even grad school on the practical nature of how to strengthen the way that we use our minds so that we're able to respond to reality with mastery. Like we had gym class, right? We all had gym class.
Yeah. Everybody
had gym class. So we were taught, we're going to gym. And by doing that, like every year, forever, we were clearly taught the value of physical activity or fitness. That was made abundantly clear. But where was the class on how to get mentally fit? Where was the mental gym class? It wasn't there.
Nope.
No, and Buddha, I'm a big fan of Eastern philosophy, and Buddha said your whole life unfolds according to the way that you think. I'm going to repeat that. Your whole life unfolds according to the way that you think, and most of us, if not, the vast majority, have had absolutely no formal training on how to become thought warriors and therefore emotional masters. Mm-hmm. So therefore, we've, in the absence of that training, we have actually been conditioned to go through life as victims of circumstance, letting the outer world govern the inner world. There's a mantra. I'm going to probably drop a lot of mantras in our dialogue today. And one of them is that the outer world is a reflection of the inner world, right? So in other words, whatever I got going on in my mind is what I got going on in my world, in my life. If I got chaos in my life, it's because I got chaos in my mind. The end. It's simple as that. Yep. If I got abundance in my life, it's because I got abundance in my mind. If I got both, I got both, right? But we haven't had that training. So that's really what I've dedicated my life to, is helping people stop the unnecessary settling, struggling, and worse, suffering that comes from an untrained mind.
Yeah. And I really like that because, we were just talking before we went on, you was asking what's been going on in my life. And, for about the last 2 weeks, I've just been off in some other world. I just lost my dad about a month ago, and that was kind of a tough one because he and I didn't really see eye to eye. We hadn't even spoke or seen each other for almost 5.5 years, and then when I finally do see him, he's laying in the deathbed. Could go anytime. So I'm grateful that we were able to make that connection again. And and then my wife's lost her job. It seems the background checks keep coming back and messing with her, because of back when she was in the depths of her addiction. So that is something I've been struggling with because people want to see these addicts and alcoholics get off the streets, so they get off the streets and start trying to get their life back on track, and then they don't want to give them the opportunity to get their life back on track, just to throw them back out on the streets again. And so what you were just saying, Chris, the last 2 days, I've really had to start digging deep in my mind again and going, okay, enough of this crap, man. I'm tired of feeling the way that I'm feeling. I'm tired of looking at life the way that I'm looking at it right now, because I know that's not how life is. So I believe there should be a class in our schools,
Oh, absolutely.
that start talking about this, just and make it a requirement, like history and English, because I think it would help a lot of our kids nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
The Sandy Hook tragedy actually inspired that it's starting, which I'm really pumped about. So a parent whose son, I guess he was first grader. He was about 6 years old. He was killed in the Sandy Hook tragedy. He was killed going in saving his classmates. And that inspired his mother to start a movement, which I really wish I could remember the name of, to give it love. I just heard about it. So I wish I could, give her props right now and say the name of it. But it's fundamentally what it is exactly what we're talking about right now, which is initiating emotional intelligence coaching and training in grade schools.
Yeah.
I think they should also have a class for parents to do with their kids for that, because I think a lot of that. We
didn't get the schooling.
Exactly. Yeah, we're learning it now.
Yep.
And trying to implement that. But it would be phenomenal to be able to have the parents in on that too, so they can continue that practice in their homes.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So, Chris, what got you into this? I mean, I'm really curious, because, sometimes those, something tragic will happen in somebody's life that will lead them down a different road, just like this mom that you were just talking about. I started this podcast because of my wife's battle with alcoholism, and wanted to help people who have been on the other side understand addiction a little bit more. Janessa's had addiction in her family, and she's wanting to speak a little bit more about it to get people to understand what was your aha moment to say, you know what, damn it, I'm going to make a change?
I actually love this question because it goes a long ways back. So my dad died early. He was a severe alcoholic, and he drank himself to death at the time. He was 42. But before he died, he made a lot of cool relationships, and he made a lot of money. And we had a house at the Jersey Shore where I was so privileged to spend all of my summers. And but after my dad died, the climate of the home, my home, got dark. Money was going away. My mom was not a moneymaker, so we were living off of savings, which was depleting rapidly. And fear was increasing in the household. We started living with a scarcity mentality. There was a lot of urgency and fear and desperation, anger. And so the vibe of my home was not cool. It was not safe. It was volatile, and it was uncomfortable and unpredictable. My neighbors, however, were the antithesis of that. They were the true opposite end of the spectrum, full of joy and celebration and lightness of being. Dan and Mame Kane.
Oh.
They were old Irish couple from Philly, retired, worked on the Philadelphia Railroad, and they are just so full of love and kindness. And they're really close with my dad, and my bedroom faced their house. So I'd be in my room reading Hardy Boys books, right? Mm-hmm. And they're on their front porch having happy hour, and they're always hosting all summer long. They would be hosting different families all summer long for like a week. So it was like I had rotation of guests. So on their front porch, they would have happy hour, right? And have cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and whatnot. And then they'd go inside for dinner. And then after dinner, they were retired to the back patio where they just whoop it up. Mm-hmm. And laugh their asses off. I don't know what they're laughing at, but you know how like mirror neurons work and how laughter is just purely contagious.
Yeah.
Really is damn contagious. So I'd be reading my book, and Hardy Boys is not a funny thing. It's not humorous subject matter, but I would just start cracking up because I would start picking up on I would catch the laughter. I would catch the joy. I would catch the enthusiasm, right? And I never thought this through the way I'm speaking it through right now because I couldn't. I was too young, but I started to, what was happening was they were impressing upon me something very huge, which was a distinction, a tremendously, uniquely, distinctly alternative way of choosing to live with a high vibe. So the simple way of putting it is my house is full of low vibes, theirs is full of high vibes. And I witnessed it. I'm facing it. I'm looking at it. I'm listening to it. Right? And I mean, I come back from the beach every day, and they were one house closer to the beach. We were 5 houses from the beach. They were 4. So I'd stop in front on my way back from the beach every day because I'm a beach bum. And I just enjoyed the vibe. So what I became conscious of, Al, was that's a better option. So I got to tell you, I think I made my choice on my path, my vocational path, when I was like 10.
Wow.
I didn't know it. But in retrospect, that's abundantly clear now.
Yeah.
Because then I became a social worker working on the streets of Atlantic City, New Jersey, working with dually diagnosed people like chronically addicted, homeless people, and chronic schizophrenics and whatnot. And then the career evolved. Then I became a sports psychologist, and then I became, an executive coach like I am now. And the through line, though, is identical. Which is really, I could just say, I help people make the same choices that the Canes made. High vibes. Because every bit of research that I've ever done, there was a long period of my career where I was working exclusively with elite athletes, competitive athletes. So I've done a whole boatload of research on human peak performance, and every shred of it consistently indicates that the better we feel, the better we are, but only, always, and only at everything.
Yeah.
So the through line between every, new incarnation of my career is that it involves helping people vibe up and be able to experience life more beautifully, more joyfully, more masterfully, more creatively, and create excellence with less effort.
Yeah, I love what you said, that they impressed upon you at age 10. And it just the question popped in my head. What vibe, what impression are we giving people around us? Because just like them, they had such a huge impact on you at 10, and it shaped your life. Like, what are we sending off,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I have a great Dr. Allison Arnold, who is my former business partner and current colleague and dear friend and mentor and soul sister. She taught me a million things, and among them, one of the biggest is that we are always either polluting or purifying the environment with our thinking or our vibes.
And
just to clarify that, because I don't want anybody to hear that like, what is this Sedona woo-woo, what are you getting out of crystals shit? It's like, this is measurable, this is science. There's a machine called a magnetoencephalograph that they put around your head, and it can measure literally the frequency of the vibrations of your thought content. It's energetic expression, and we're never not doing that.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, because our vibrations travel all over the world, right? I mean, it's out in the universe.
The universe.
And a lot of people don't understand that, and I have talked to people about it before, and they did look at me like, man, what the hell are you starting to smoke, Al? Because that sounds a little far-fetched, but there's scientific proof behind it. They've done a ton of studies on it, and it's true.
Yeah.
Those vibes get sent out.
You're either progressing and changing, or you're dying.
Yeah.
Really.
There is, I have a list of mantras that I use every day, and it sits here on my desk and all over, lots of places in my house. And I read these to myself every day, speak my way. This is my truth, so I speak my way into my truth. And one of them is, I am instantly and inextricably connected to all that exists across space-time. And now it sounds weird, but I stole it directly from my boy, one of my favorite teachers in the world, Deepak Chopra. He likes to say funky stuff.
Yeah, yes, he does.
He loves dressing it all up, and I dig that. I like to dumb stuff down. Like he'll say, inherent within your desires are the mechanics for their own fulfillment. And a Jersey boy that I am, I'm like, that's too weird. Let's just dumb it down. The how is in the what. So the whole thing, the other mantra that we're talking about in terms of vibes and how that the energetics of vibration, and we're going down a slippery slope. This is kind of neat. This is actually at the core of what Einstein was struggling with when he died, because he knew there was something missing from his relativity theory. And it was like he couldn't figure it out. He couldn't pinpoint it, but he left enough evidence behind so that his followers did. And like the flaw in relativity theory was that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. And the flaw was that travel was an assumption. Information, energetics of information or thought doesn't travel. It is instantaneously accessible across space-time. They do these great experiments on non-local correlations, meaning like the instantaneous, they call quantum weirdness, or weirdness at a distance, all kinds of nicknames for it. But for example, a mother who's just recently given birth, and her baby is in the other room in the crib sleeping, and the baby wakes up, doesn't make any noise yet, and gets hungry. The mother has no visual or auditory indication of that hunger, and she starts lactating.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
It's like immediate.
But there's another funny one. That's just in the other room. Mm-hmm. So then they get this is kind of a weird one, but it's the one I got. They get a guy's sperm cells, and they put them in a petri dish or whatever in a lab in Los Angeles, and they keep them active and alive. They send the guy over to Amsterdam, across the damn planet, right? And they send him to a nudie bar. I know it's a weird one. It's still working. And the moment, and they're monitoring this, right? They're in touch with him, and the moment that he gets aroused in Amsterdam, his cells in LA start spiking.
Wow.
Non-local correlation. So our influence is profound. We're having it all the time. So that to bring it all the way back, because that was kind of a slippery slope. It was fun though.
Oh yeah, that was really, and it was great information. Yeah, really good
and you're
information.
saying it's not just voodoo, it's scientific.
How does our vibe affect us?
Yeah.
Like what's the vibe? Not just how am I affecting the world around me or the universe around me that I'm in. How am I affecting me? How's my vibe affecting me? What kind of vibe am I creating with my own thinking, with my own interpretations of reality?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the crux of my work. And that's something that I hope we explore more today, because I would love for your audience to walk away with some real practical. That was nice, fun theory dialogue, but I would love for them to walk away with some real practical stuff that they could do differently. It's like the stuff that we didn't learn, right, in grade school.
Exactly.
The stuff that we would have got in the class when we come back from gym. Then we sit down, and the teacher goes, "All right, everybody, we just did physical ed. Now we're going to do mental ed." All right. So what we're going to do, kids, is we're going to learn how to be emotional masters and thought warriors. Is that cool? You excited about this? Yeah. All right, good. So what I'm going to teach you, what we're going to learn now, is how to alter your psychological states in an instant, so that you're able to choose the state that serves you in the moment through your whole life, so that the creation of your life on your terms and excellence becomes fast and easier for you, and that you don't become a victim of circumstance. So let's work on, can everybody create nervousness right now? How would you do that? Actually, let's do that for fun. You want to do it?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. Right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. If you three were going to get paid, you're going to get hooked up to a biofeedback machine. And this biofeedback machine flawlessly identifies the emotional state that you're in. And you're going to get paid $10,000 for each of the unique emotional states that you're instructed to create. If you could get your monitor to indicate that you are actually in that state, then you get paid $10,000, all right? So we're going to imagine that's the scenario, and then I'm going to give you an instruction, okay? You ready?
Got it.
All right. So without saying anything out loud, 30 seconds you have. Create nervousness. Go. Was anybody able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did.
Janessa, okay, but Janessa, you're nodding your head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how did you do it?
I honestly think of a couple people in my life that if I imagined having to meet with them or talk to them about something, immediately I'm like, my heart starts racing.
By the way, FYI, I'm sorry to interrupt you, that your microphone is really, really quiet.
Oh, I do. Is that better?
Actually, it's not. I think
No?
that one's off. But I mean, I can hear you.
kidding me?
You can hear me okay, though?
I can hear you. It's just really, really quiet compared to Al and Shalice.
During our break, I'll jump over there and
Okay.
reset. So just try to pull it closer. If you want to pull it
I
closer
heard
to
everything you
Janessa.
said. I heard
Okay.
everything you said, and what you
Okay.
said was critical.
Okay.
Because you said, if I imagine, and then you said the rest. You said, there's certain people, if I imagine, getting with them, that you created nerve. It's if I imagine are the critical words in your response, because you imagined. In other words, if you're giving me the liberty to translate that, you thought about a scenario, and that thought, which isn't even real, it's just a thought, created nervousness or anxiety in you. Is that accurate?
Yeah, exactly.
How amazing is that? You're sitting in a room, kicking it, sitting at a table, talking to some dude, through technology, recording a podcast. It's not a super stimulus saturated moment, but out of nothing, you just created anxiety. Fascinating. All right, you want to try another one?
Sure.
Okay, you've got 30 seconds. Everyone create the state of enthusiasm. Go. Okay, was anybody able to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, Shalice, how did you do that?
I just remembered or thought about things that I'm excited about for, right now and the future, and things I'm working on, and also body language and smiling and just like feeling it.
So your answer began with the same words.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, fill in the blank, right? I thought about. So you were able to create enthusiasm out of nothingness by choosing, operative word, to fill your mind with a certain quality of thinking.
Yep.
Okay, let's do another one. You got 30 seconds. Create the state of anger. Go. Could you do it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was easy. That was real easy. Oh, hell yeah. I was already there.
I'm always angry.
Okay, Al, your turn, man. How did you do that so effortlessly?
It was the thought that we were even talking about before about my wife losing her job because of a background check of something that happened in her past. That just, it torques me really fast. So I've really had to be careful thinking about it, because I thought about it for way too many days, and it was just really putting me off in a dark
so that's
spot.
an amazingly useful, relevant point, is you've been practicing that so much lately that was so easy for you. Because whatever we practice, we get very, very good at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that one for you, given what you just acknowledged about the past couple of weeks in your world, you have rehearsed accessing the state of anger, and several others, but that was the one we talked about.
Yeah.
Right? So that was real easy for you. But again, what it was is you simply selectively, meaning chose, attend. You selectively attended to a certain set of circumstances, right, that you think is bad, right?
Yeah.
And then you created this state. So we create our states with our thoughts. That's the point. That's the point of this whole damn exercise, right? Right. So going back to the kids' class, right? Everybody look, see how powerful you all are, kids? Is you can create any state in any moment of your life just sitting in a chair. But and so if you practice that, you get really, really good at altering your states, being able to choose the states that are going to serve you in every moment. But we didn't learn that.
Right.
And what we learned instead, you want to hear a story about what we learned instead?
Yes, please.
Little girl comes home from school and she's all smiles. And her mom sees her and goes, "Oh my God, honey, look at you, you're so happy. What happened? Did you make a new friend at school today?" And the little girl goes, "No, there weren't any new students today at school, Mommy." And the mom's like, all right, this is cool. You're so happy though. So, did you got cupcakes at recess, didn't you? And the little girl says, no cupcakes today, Mommy. And the mom's like, all right, well, what is it? What happened? Why are you so happy? You got a sticker for your spelling quiz. And the little girl says, well, we didn't even have a spelling quiz today, Mommy. Now, this is a loving exchange between this precious little girl and her greatest influence and hero of the universe, her mommy. It's a loving exchange, but embedded within it is a horrible lesson that the mother does not know she's teaching. And the little girl sure as hell doesn't know she's learning. You know what it is?
I haven't picked it up yet.
She's learning, the little girl is learning that there's no such thing as causeless joy. You don't just choose your states. The mom's going, why are you so, honey, what happened?
You have to have a reason.
Why are you so, you see the power in this?
Yeah.
The mom is unintentionally, literally teaching and powerfully, very effectively and rapidly teaching the daughter to be what we call a victim of circumstance, relying on the outer world in order to experience something in the inner world. Like, honey, why are you so happy? That question by itself is stupid.
That's true.
Like, because I want to be. What the hell? Why do I got to explain that to you? But then it's even worse. It's like, well, what was the thing that happened in the world that was completely out of your control, that's giving you permission to experience joy right now, sweetheart?
So we're trying to attach something to it when we really don't need to.
There doesn't need to be a reason.
Yeah.
Right, like causeless joy, causeless enthusiasm, right? So the girl, because this is just our nature as humans. She just, in that moment, felt like, I feel like being happy. That sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. So she starts skipping home. Doesn't have no reason necessary. Right? Like I wear these shirts sometimes that say BDDOML. Hashtag BDDOML, which stands for best damn day of my life. All right? And I start every day. I start every single day. It's written on my bathroom mirror, and I start every single day with a ritual. I started doing this just a couple years ago, and I love this. I can't believe I didn't start this sooner. As soon as I wake up, I have delete small, it's not small, it's short, but it's powerful as hell, ritual where I actually declare, this is the best day of my life. And some days it's harder than others, but I don't care, whatever, I do it. And I have it be true without waiting to see how stuff goes. Right, so I'll go to the grocery store and somebody, the person at the checkout counter says, "Hey, how you doing?" And they may not even give a damn about. That's just a greeting, right? Probably 90% of the time, people don't give a damn about your answer. It's just a way of saying hi. And so, how you doing? But I answer it anyway. I'm like, "Oh, this is the best damn day of my life." And
Wow.
I get all kinds of different responses. Sometimes if they're not in a good mood, they're like,
Yeah, sure.
Get out of here.
Whack job. Let's just get into that.
Yeah, this guy's on something.
Yeah, other times they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's so great." But once in a while they'll say, "Really? Why? What happened?" Right? Like, where's the question? Why did something have to happen?
Yeah, I love that.
It's like where you've set an expectation that you have to be happy for a reason. And even sad or angry, like there has to be this expectation, this line of you have to be here in order to feel those. If not, you're crazy.
The big lesson, right, is that we have all been conditioned to believe that the world governs our state. And we need to reverse that. And this is directly related to all human suffering, which addiction is simply an attempt to treat. Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
All addiction is an attempt to treat the internal dis-ease.
Yep.
Cope.
We haven't learned to create the ease. We've been conditioned to create dis-ease inside of us. So why the hell wouldn't I want to medicate that? Right?
That's why they call it disease, right?
Yep. Right.
We had a guest on Tuesday that said it almost just like that. That's why they call it disease, because yeah.
Right. You have internal conflict.
Yep. Yeah.
I studied in India at a place called the Oneness. I love this that this comes up. This is like one of the coolest experiences of my life. I had the opportunity to study at a place called the Oneness University in southern India, outside of Chennai. And at nighttime, everybody's got their own teachers. They're called dasajis, and they guide you through the experience, right? And at night they'll come visit and say, so how was your day? What did you learn? And just kick it with you, right? And they're all young. They're like like in their 20s, and they're purely enlightened. It's like, because this is all I've ever done. It's amazing. So my dasaji comes over, and she's just hanging out. And I said, I got a question for you. And she said, okay. And I said, how do you define enlightenment? And she smiled as if I just gave her a luxury yacht. Like that question was like a diamond ring.
Oh my gosh.
She smiles and she sits back and she looks up. And she probably paused for a good 30 seconds. And she's smiling, looking up. So she's going totally present. And she looks back at me and she goes, having no internal conflict. And I thought, bam! That's a mic drop right there, right? Having no internal conflict. I thought that's beautiful. That's also what Buddha dedicated his life to, is the possibility of that, right? And this is why I'm so adamant about having this kind of teaching start when we're young, so we stop creating all the internal conflict that needs to be medicated in the first damn place.
I think that also speaks to like what you were saying, like the reason to be happy, and just like Janessa mentioned that, you know, there's always a reason to be upset, but then we hold on to that upset or sad or anger or whatever and say, well, now I can't be happy. And so it's harder to let that go because we have to now be less happy because we had something not so great happen to us.
So let's do, I love that you just said that, Shalise. So let's do, can we do another exercise that is like...
Yeah, let's do it, and then we'll stop for a commercial break after this, okay?
Yep. Yeah, this one only take a minute or two. This pigtails off the last one. So, and whoever's watching and or listening to this, do this with us. This exercise has been a game changer for a lot of people. Think of something that happened in your life, and we're not going to say anything out loud, and I ain't going to ask you what these memories are either. So let yourself go for a few minutes. I want you to choose to think of something for just the next few moments that occurred in your world. It could be really recent or it could be really distant, but it's something that you interpret as very, very unpleasant. Now, we're not doing re-traumatization therapy. I'm simply, for a few moments, just asking you to choose. I'm going to use weird language on purpose. Choose to fill your mind for the next few moments, just for a few moments, choose to fill your mind with the unique thought content of something that occurred in your world, in your life, that you believe, you interpret as rather unpleasant. Do that for the next few moments. And as you're doing it, as you're doing that, notice the unique emotional states that arise in you as a consequence of that choice of particular thought content. Do that for the next just a few moments, and I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, now we're going to switch channels. We're going to change channels, just like on TV, except it's actually faster. So now what I'd like for you to do is to choose to fill your mind with the unique thought content of an event that happened in your world that was spectacular. Either something hysterical or something just wonderfully beautiful, some remarkably wonderful event that occurred in your world, either recently or distantly. So choose now for the next few moments to fill your mind with that particular quality of thought content. And as you do it, notice the very distinct emotions that arise in you as a consequence of that particular choice of thought content. Label them. All right. Okay. Now, were you able to do those, both of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who would like to volunteer with that? Don't say what the events were. I'm not going to ask you that. There's no need for that. I just want to know let's go with the first one. Whoever wants to answer, or all of you can. What were the states?
Okay.
What were the states, the emotions that, listen to the weird language I'm still using. It ain't really weird. It's just unfamiliar. It should be normal because it's accurate. What were the emotions that you generated within yourself with the thoughts of the first event, which was an unpleasant thing?
There was fear and sadness and betrayal.
Wow.
And
Okay, so you did it. Yeah, good. Shalise, did you have any physiological responses by any chance?
oh yeah, like my body tensed up, and I started breathing different.
I saw her right leg start bouncing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so see, this is not unusual, right? Isn't that amazing, though? We're just having a conversation over here.
Yeah.
And you just generated physiological responses as well as emotional ones simply out of choosing. That's the operative word. Choosing to fill your mind with a certain quality of thought content. You created those outcomes, emotional and physical. Isn't that amazing? All right. Yeah. Now, how about, and anybody can answer, how about with the second memory, right? The second thought content. What were the emotions that you created for yourself with that thinking?
Peace.
Peace?
Mine was happy. As soon as he said it, I started smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see that. Yeah. Okay. Again, physiological responses. So high grade states. Now let me ask you this question: how long did it take to switch?
Pretty quick.
Yep.
I can tell you exactly how long it took. It took precisely the amount of time that it took you to change the channel. To change the quality of thinking. The amount of time it took you to stop thinking about the unpleasant thing and start thinking about the pleasant thing is exactly the. I did a video blog one time. I'm in my office. I got a TV up there. I got direct TV. So I actually timed how long it took to just press the channel button up, right? How long it took to actually go from one channel to another. And it took like 6.8 seconds or 5.8 seconds, whatever, 6 seconds we'll say. It took a lot less time than that for you to completely alter your psychological state. Mm-hmm. What we just did in this exercise is you traveled virtually the entire expanse of the human emotional highway or spectrum simply by changing the quality of your thinking. That's a super freaking power.
Yeah.
Think about how much time we spend in unnecessary dis-ease. We have this power. I'm not saying that I would never say that there's anything inadequate, inappropriate, uncool about feeling, feeling poorly. We just do it way the hell too much.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question. So if you have been practicing an emotion or a state, whether you're in the angry, something just happened and you're just stewing over it for days, or if something really good happened and you're just on this high and it's going on for days, is it easier, like we were saying earlier with Al, he had been practicing the anger because of the circumstance that happened. It was easy for him to get into that versus, is it harder from when you're in that state to get into the opposite because you've been practicing or going down that road for a certain amount of time?
Yeah, so we actually have, so imagine grade school lets out for the summer and kids are all going off to the baseball field to go play together. and the field of grass in between the street and where they go to play baseball has grown grass over the spring, and somebody walks through the grass over to the baseball field, so they trod down some of the grass. Then when they come back to leave, they can see kind of where the grass was bent a little bit, and they go the same way, and then that trods it down some more, and then the next day they come and they go the same path, and then eventually there's actually a path, so it becomes really, really easy to travel that little highway. That's exactly how it works in our brains. Those are neural pathways that are built from thinking repetition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Al created a neural pathway of the past couple, and these are very fragile. We can change these rapidly.
Yeah.
Right, but they're very effective. No matter how fragile they are, they're perfectly effective. So if I choose to think, oh, this sucks, whatever something. Right, like my wife losing her job. This sucks. Yeah, we can validate that. I'm not talking about whether it sucks or not. That can actually be challenged, but that's a different conversation. If I'm thinking that and thinking that and thinking that, what I'm doing is I'm creating a neural pathway that is effortless to repeat. Right, that this sucks, and then it's so easy for me to go there. It's effortless for me to go there. So it's like when I'm doing workshops, with people and there's hundreds of people in a room, and I'm introducing all this stuff that we're talking about right now. Once in a while, somebody will stand up and like, wait, hold on. Are you telling me that like when I get a flat tire, I'm supposed to be happy? And I say, no, you're not getting it yet. No, you're not. You're not supposed to be anything. You're not supposed to be pissed. You just are because you've rehearsed it. It's automatic for you.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Yeah.
You say it just is?
It just is. When you
I
get a
love
flat-
that. That's one of my favorite mantras.
It is what it is, right?
It just is.
Just is. That's so great.
And I love that you put it that way with the grass on tromping it down, because I've been tromping down the grass for, like I said, about 2 weeks. And it wasn't up until a couple days ago when I started going, okay, it's time for me to start taking a different path because I'm tired of going down this same path. Mm-hmm. So now I've been working on steering myself away. As a matter of fact, my wife even said last night, she goes, well, it's finally good to see you smile for once, and it's because I'm working on going back down that right path, So
that's a really important point, right? It's actually a huge point. Is like, well, what's the new path? Like, what's the replacement path? Mm-hmm. And that's why I rely on all these mantras that I use so much. I just finished writing a book on 50 mental toughness mantras, and one of them is, it's actually a question, is what can I create from this? Mm-hmm. The mantra form, the sentence form is, every set of circumstances can be created from if viewed masterfully. So useful potential alternative for you out now is when you catch yourself feeling, go, this sucks. Go, I don't want that path anymore. It's not really having me be amazing. It's not serving anybody really. So then you replace it by going, we'll create something excellent out of this.
Yeah.
It
goes to that choice again. I mean, really, it's your choice. You can stay stuck where you're at, or you can choose to go somewhere else. So, all right, we're going to stop for a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back because we definitely want to respect Chris's time. So, guys, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever been in a car accident? Do you know what to do after being in a car accident? Are the insurance companies going to take care of you? Hi, I'm attorney Rick Heaton with the Law Office of Bobby Udall. I will help you through the process and answer all of these questions. I give every single client my cell phone so they can talk to me whenever they need. Let me deal with the insurance company so you can focus on getting better from your injuries. Call me at 385-330-0226. Again, my cell phone number, 385-330-0226. Don't call the insurance company first. Call attorney Rick Heaton at 385-330-0226.
This is Gregory, owner of Lift Up Concrete, proudly serving the Wasatch Front for the last 12 years, lifting sunken flatwork for both residential and commercial applications. Only fully trained professionals lifting concrete at your residence with the same quality of material and method used at every commercial job we ever do. Don't replace it, lift it. liftupconcrete.net, 801-792-4535. Contact us at liftupconcrete.net Or if you're looking for a complimentary quote, 801-792-4535. Again, 801-792-4535. Again, this is Gregory, Lift Up Concrete Lifting.
Hello, my friends. This is Brad Neufeld, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Resilience Talk Network. You can listen to my show, Resilience, every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. On my show, we will be discussing what it takes for you to overcome the day-to-day challenges that all of us face in life, as well as some of the devastating ones that may lead us to feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's my goal to provide you with the tools and skills that you need to overcome anything that is thrown your way. To find out more about my show, visit our website at www.resiliencetalk.com. That's www.resiliencetalk.com. And as always, until we meet again, go for everything that you want in life and make it happen.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the other side of addiction. We're here with our special guest today, Chris Dorris. Chris, man, the first half of the show was phenomenal. Don't you ladies think? I mean, I think some of that information that Chris shared with us and even the exercises that we did was really good. It reminded me of something that I went through probably about 7 years ago where I went to a class, and it was almost the same type of thing what Chris was saying, but they had us all stand up in a room and get in a circle. And they had us draw an imaginary circle in front of us. And they, at the count of 3, they wanted us to step in that circle, close our eyes, and think of something that made us angry. And then I think it was about 60 seconds, we stepped back out, looked around the room, and you could see people with their fists doubled up and people with grit in their teeth. And she goes, okay, now we're going to change it up. She goes, now when I count to 3 and have you step in to the circle, I want you to think of something that makes you extremely happy. And it was almost like that same exercise Chris did with us, because it was just in a matter of like a snap of a finger where you could see people. Well, you couldn't see it because our eyes were closed, but when you stepped out of the circle and opened your eyes, how quickly you could see everybody's emotions go. And I've shared a little bit. I was vulnerable and shared a little bit what's going on with me the last couple weeks. And it took me a couple weeks to realize, man, I was stuck on that merry-go-round. And I just kept playing that same scenario over and over and over, which Chris mentioned. And it's taken me some time to finally go, okay, man, it's time to start getting off this damn thing and start creating another path, because I really wasn't enjoying where I was at. So, Chris, during the break, we were talking about enthusiasm, and I think you wanted to go that direction. And before we move into that, have you worked with Steve Hardison? I saw him smile. Awesome.
I have a picture here of my 2 coaches, right? 2 Steve Hardison. Do you know who this guy is? Is that oh my gosh, he was mentioned in the book. Yeah, Steve Chandler. Steve Chandler, thank you. Because I wanted to get a hold of Steve Chandler. From what I understand from reading The Ultimate Coach, he dealt with addiction for a little while.
Oh, yeah, for a very long time.
So I was reading the book, and I'm getting close to being done, and I come across this thing, and guess whose name I see in it? Yours. And I was like, holy shit, is this the Chris Dorris we got coming on this show? So anyway, I had Steve's name up on top to actually hit you up on that, but Laban is the one who actually told me about Steve, because Steve was here from Utah at one time, lives in Arizona now. But man, I was really bummed I missed that event down there, because there was a lot of friends of mine. Laban, his beautiful fiance Anna. There was Nicholas Smith, Ryan Morris, Nicole Costello from A Tribe of Giants were all down there. And I just love those individuals so much. They're just incredible human beings.
I was able to meet them that day.
Yeah. So kudos on you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's very. I'm so blessed to have been able to create the opportunity to be coached by both of those masters, two of the best coaches on the planet. And that's not just my opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah. After reading this book, I tell you what, and there's quite a few people that said it in the book. I'm trying to sneeze here, but excuse me. Steve Hardison is like from another world. I mean, I'm reading some of the stuff that that's talked about in the book, and literally.
I'll tell you a story. This is a perfect, unbelievably perfect segue.
Okay.
So you mentioned enthusiasm, and you mentioned Hardison, and I mentioned another world. All right, here we go. So Steve Hardison, for those that don't know, is a life coach. And he has coached the likes of Byron Katie, Ian Van Zandt, Steve Chandler forever. Right? So he coaches a lot of powerhouses on the planet because he is one. And the dude lives in service.
Yes, he does.
Right? And one of the cool things he does is every summer he picks a city in a neighboring state. And he goes off and he drives by himself. He loads his car up with a bunch of gifts, like books written by his clients, right? Like Giants versus Smalls, or stuff from Steve Chandler and all that.
Yep, Giants and Smalls.
He's just going to go and meet people spontaneously. He has no agenda other than going and co-creating miracles with humans, just serving them, going and meeting strangers and loving them. So this particular past summer, the destination was Santa Monica, California, Santa Monica. So he goes over there. Now he documents. He documents this so beautifully on social media. So it's like a show. He's going to be out there for like 6 days. Right. As soon as he gets to the place where he's staying, he pulls up, and of course, the bellmen come out to get his luggage, and he's there for an hour, hanging with these dudes, making friends, creating a new tribe, giving them books, right? And talking them up and getting into their worlds and whatnot. He's got pictures of that. So then there's like videos of him dancing on the beach with homeless people. And, and he's holding court at a gelato shop, and he does it again the next day and the next day because people keep requesting to have it over and over. And the whole thing goes on. It's really fantastic. But that's not even why I'm telling you the story. At the end of the week, this particular week, he called it the Top Hat Tour, which he has a top hat, so he just called it the Top Hat Tour. Top Hat Tour complete, writes a Facebook post. A miraculous week, and I'm so happy to be heading home because I miss my girlfriend, who happens to be my wife, Amy. Honey, I'm on my way home. I love you. I can't wait to see you. So that was cool. But then a few hours later, there's another post on Facebook, and it goes, apparently, Top Hat Tour not complete. There's more magic to be created. He got a flat tire 150 miles out from Phoenix in the middle of the desert. It's 120 degrees out, and his car doesn't have a spare. He's just he drives one of those tiny little Porsches. There's no spare in that. So he's 150 miles out, middle of the desert, 120 degree heat, and he's got no spare. I'm saying it like that for a reason. He posts, I get to. He goes, Top Hat Tour not over. I'm so excited, enthusiasm. I get to contact Porsche Roadside Service and meet someone there. So he does. And he calls, and he's all amped up. And this lady's like, sir, are you on drugs? And he's probably like, oh, hell yeah, I am. Dopamine and serotonin, baby. and she's like, man, this is very unusual. He goes, well, I'm an unusual guy. So so I get to meet you. And she made her day. And then he asked her, okay, so, Liz, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? He's not like, what the hell are we going to do? He's like amped up. And she goes, okay, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to call Michael, who's going to come out with a flatbed and pick you up in your car and drive you back home. And he goes, that is so great. Oh my God, Michael. Wow. Michael is about to have the ride of his life, and he doesn't even know it yet. It's so great. Sure enough, that's what happened. Is Michael came and picked him up, and Steve's just like all amped up, and you know, Steve charges a pretty strong coaching fee, like really strong. This dude Michael got a whole lot of free coaching right there. Tens of thousands of dollars of free coaching right there. And sure, you know, he brought Michael drove him to his favorite, you know, shop where Steve gets his car fixed, and then got his belongings and drove Steve back home. Steve introduced Michael to Amy, his wife, and it was just beautiful. And anyway, I'm telling this story because it's I'm telling the story all the time in my coaching and in my speaking on stages. I'm telling this damn story. And because it's an amazing story on what we're working towards here.
Yeah.
Okay. And but I've realized after telling the story like maybe 15, 20 times, I'm wondering, am I telling this story accurately, or am I filling in blanks conveniently because I want the story to sound a certain way? So I'm like, I got to confirm with the source. So I call up Steve. Now, Steve and I have nicknames for each other. I call him Admiral, and he calls me Boatness. There's a long story behind that, which is another day. I'm in the boats and all this stuff. And so I call him up and say, Admiral. He goes, oh, Boatness, what's up? I said, I'm telling your story about the flat tire. I need to make sure I'm telling it right. I have 2 clarification questions for you. He goes, all right, shoot. I said, 1, honest to God, how long did it take for you to get to enthusiasm after discovering that you're getting a flat tire with no spare, 150 miles out in the middle of the desert in 120-degree heat? And he goes, 0 seconds. I go, okay, good. So I'm telling that part of the story I'm telling accurately. Second and final clarification question, how are you able to do that? And he goes, years and years of practice. I said, no, good, thank you. That's all. I'm telling the story accurately. He goes, love you, Boatness. Take care. I said, all right, later. So that's the story, right? Is years and years of practice doing exactly what we're talking about all day here today, the 4 of us, is practicing upgrading our interpretations of reality so that ultimately our default response to life is, in fact, enthusiasm. In fact, one of his clients, Byron Katie, who I just referenced, I mentioned earlier, my favorite quote of hers is, until you are able to respond to all of life with enthusiasm, your work is not done.
Yeah.
I love that because I think that so many people see people that are like that and think that there's never been a struggle. That's just who they are. They don't think of the practice, just like people that are successful. They don't see the whole entire story, the years and years that they've gone through to get that way. It's the same thing with our emotional state. It's not like it all of a sudden happened overnight. We have so much to unlearn that we've learned throughout our life but it's not impossible to do.
Yeah, and you've noticed that when you are happy, it does piss some people off because they're wait, you're saying I have to choose? I can choose? You can't? I'm not pissed off for some reason, you know, like I've noticed though some people, it really pisses them off, and in a way I'm trying to take that and be like, that's a compliment instead of being
exactly.
like, you jerk, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I take that as a compliment that I just pissed you off.
I just pissed you off.
For being happy.
You know, a lot of people sometimes people, when they're hearing a conversation like this, they're not really picking it up because they're accustomed, like the people you're describing right now, probably, Janessa, have rehearsed so well having a problem with reality that it's really effortless for them. That like when people are choosing joy so consistently, they're like, the person's in a state of total delusion.
Denial.
We can't even get there.
Exactly.
They think that you're looking at life through rose-colored glasses. And I whenever somebody says that, I'm like, hold on. Hold the show. Because you got it completely backwards. I'm not looking at life through rose-colored. Why would I need? Life is ideal. Why would I need to put rose-colored glasses? I don't want to put like silver around platinum. So it's like, I'm not looking at life through rose-colored glasses. I'm taking, we'll call these the distortion glasses. I'm taking the distortion glasses that I've learned to put on that have me see reality problematically. I'm taking them the hell off.
I like that a lot.
So I can experience reality as it is, because reality as it is damn good.
Yeah. Is that where you come up with create the state, don't wait?
Yeah, right. Create the state, don't wait is really at the backbone of all the work, that everything we've been talking about so far.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't have to wait for anything to occur in order to create the states of bliss. It's a state of expertise, like competency, joy, serenity, enthusiasm, gratitude, all the high grade states. I have access. You just proved it with that exercise. All you do is think your way into it. You create it out of nothing.
Yeah.
That's a superpower. So don't wait for anything. Don't wait for a raise. Don't wait for a certain amount of zeros to be in your savings account before you feel financially secure. Don't wait for a title or acknowledgement before you feel like a damn expert. When I was working with athletes, I said, don't wait for the damn wins before you feel like the badass.
Yeah.
Right? Create the state, don't wait. And then paradoxically, you create the outcomes faster by creating state first than you would have if you were waiting for the outcomes in order to experience the state.
And it takes, like you said, years and years and years of practice. And I think a lot of people say, well, I tried it and it didn't work. And it's like, well, it takes a lot of practice. Who says it's easy to make that trail in the beginning? You're going to trudge through a lot of tall grass,
Well, and you look, we've been programmed, all of us have been programmed the same way pretty much all our life, from time that we are just youth into our young adulthood into our adulthood. I had a conversation with my mom a couple of weeks ago, and of course she's going through her grieving moments and trying to deal with a lot of stuff. Well, let's get that word out. That's another thing I'm working on, is getting rid of that word try. She's working on a lot of things, and I was doing my best to uplift her, and her comment was, I've been this way all my life, it's too late. And I'm like, wow, she actually really just said that she thinks it's too late to make a change.
Well, that's like, it reminds me too of when my mom, whenever something happens in my life that's hard or whatever, she always says, poor Shalise. And I was like, stop saying that. I'm not poor in any sense of the word. Like, there's nothing poor about me. I get to accept these challenges, and sometimes it's not easy all the time, but I'm going to do it, and I'm not poor. Like, it's not like, don't take pity on me. Like, be excited that I get to actually do this, because not a lot of people get to do what I do.
Yeah.
The whole it's just how I am thing is learned. Okay. And like having a problem with reality is learned, right? Like believing, like being convinced that getting a flat tire is a problem is just learned, right? But like it's proof that this guy Steve Hardison was able to go straight to because of his training, like a 10th degree black belt in emotional mastery, has earned the strength, not the privilege, the ability that we all have access to, right? To go straight to have default be enthusiasm, right? So it's like, oh, it's just how I am. We've been taught that, and it's not true. It's just it's just what you've been practicing. And I don't care, and it doesn't matter how long. I mentioned earlier that these thought habits are very, very fragile. So how long you've been practicing it is infinitely irrelevant.
Well, it makes me actually feel good, because that same spot in the desert 2.5 years ago, my kids and my ex, we were on a road trip. We had a 2-week road trip. We ran out of air conditioning at that exact spot. I know exactly where you are. It was 120 degrees. And it was the longest 4 hours of our trip, but it was the most exciting and adventurous, and we kept it together the whole time. And that is, in 2 weeks, the only thing my kids remember.
That's something else. Yeah.
I'm like, that's a gold star moment for me. Okay.
That's cool.
My refrigerator broke a couple months ago. Al, do you know who Devin Bandison is?
I do not.
Devin Bandison is a great friend and colleague of mine, who's also a master life coach, and who is also a social worker, who is also a basketball player in college. He and I have so much in common. He's from New York. And this is Devin. This is his book, Fatherhood is Leadership. That's he. That's him and his 3 amazing kids.
Okay.
Right. So Devin is a current client of Steve Hardison. So Devin comes out here every 2 weeks from New York to work with Steve because Steve only works with clients in person.
Right.
So, and he stays with me because we're boys, and I love having him here, and it's great, One week, a couple months ago, my refrigerator broke, but I caught it like before anything spoiled. I had just bought a whole bunch of really nice frozen steaks, and they were in the freezer, and I have a spare fridge in the garage, so it really wasn't a big deal, right? And I have a home warranty company, so it's like I just called them. I moved everything into the fridge, into the garage, and I called the home warranty, and they sent out a guy to come fix it a day or two later, and the guy was super cool, big dude from Poland, and we had a really killer dialogue. It was fun as hell. I gave him a copy of one of my books, and it was just a really neat dialogue. He told me about how he met his wife on a cruise ship and all this stuff. Nice. So anyway, he fixes the fridge, and he goes. 4 days later, now it's the weekend. And Devin is here. So actually Monday morning before he goes to his session with Steve. I get up, I go into the kitchen to get a glass of water, and the kitchen floor is covered in water. All right, notice your reactions. Just note that. I appreciate it.
I said it.
Mine was a little bit worse than that. I'll tell you that right now. And I open up the fridge and everything is spoiled. Like it's just right. Notice your reactions. Notice your auto responses right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just be conscious of them. So mine was more like a series of F-bombs. Right? I mean, like all kinds of different variations of it too. I was cursing that nice man that I met who obviously can't fix shit. And I was cursing out, how cheap my company is after 17 years. Can't they just replace the damn refrigerator, for God's sake? All the money I've given them over just blah, and it steaks are over. So I'm going on for about 10, 15 seconds in a bit of a rage. And then I got to the practice, which actually, incidentally, is on here. It was on here for something else, but it's useful. And this stands for catch, own, or replace. And we've already talked about it. So what I did is I caught myself in a low-grade state, a very, very low-grade state, right? Which was anger, maybe even rage. And then I owned it by saying, I'm not pissed because all the food's spoiled or whatever, water on the floor or any of these things I was just complaining about. I'm really pissed off right now because I'm thinking like a scrub. I'm thinking like a true rookie right now. The way I'm thinking about this is weak sauce. And then I replaced it, and I used 2 mantras. So the first one was, and Shalice, you'll dig this, I said, my first mantra was the great neutralizer. I said, ain't bad, just is. Just is. Just is, a refrigerator's broken, water on the floor, and food that needs to be thrown away. That's just a statement of fact. Like, this is a blue pen. Today's a Thursday. It's just data. So I instantly felt way better. But then I'm like, let's make it even better. So I dug into my mantras sack and pulled out another one and said, this is the best damn thing could have happened. I like that one. I don't even need to have a reason. Just like the little girl coming home from school, don't need to have a reason for being happy. That's the best damn thing could have happened. Now a lot of people hear that like, oh, this is bullshit. But anyway, I don't give a damn. I'm like, yeah, right. I am upgrading the hell out of my state, and I love this. Is the work. This is the work, right? That Horace is talking about. He did for years and years. I'm doing it. He's at 0 seconds. I'm at 10. He got a head start though. He's 16 years older than me.
Yeah.
He's not 16 years old. It's this bullshit. He's like 11. But anyway, so Devin is here, right? My buddy, who's a mental coach as well. He's the go-to mind coach for the NBA, and he's a master coach, right? So he walks in and he sees me, and he sees the floor covered in water. His first comment to me is, "Oh, dude, how pissed are you?" I got it. There's a joke in here somewhere. 2 mental coaches standing in the kitchen, and fridge breaks. It's like, and they're both pissed off. And I said, because he asked me, he was serious. He's like, "Oh, dude, how pissed are you?" And I'm like, "I'm none pissed." I said, "This is the best damn thing could have happened." He goes, "CD, I see you doing the work. I see you doing the work." It was so cool. It was such a great moment because he's like, yeah, man, that's the work. And this guy said, "You should have seen me 10 seconds ago, bro."
Those are pretty.
But that is the worst. And now, say it was someone like, it wasn't Devin, who doesn't really get it, and I just said, "This is the best damn thing could happen." They'd be like, "What the hell are you talking about? How?"
Yeah.
And I would have said, seriously, I would have said, "I don't know yet. Give me a minute." I'll tell you what, though, I can guarantee you, by the way I'm choosing to respond to this, I will create some excellence out of this. Mm-hmm. That's a lock. But you got to give me a second. You know, like it's happening right now. But I will, by the way I choose, by virtue of the way I choose to practice interpreting reality, I'm going to create something awesome out of this. That's a lock.
Yeah.
And here I am. I don't know how many times I've told this story. I've created, this is it. It's training content. It's material. Mm-hmm. I've created from that experience. I'm happy that occurred because I'm creating from it. So that's not kumbaya bullshit. That's not putting, a silver lining on anything. This is me choosing to legitimately do the hard work of being intolerant of my crappy, low-grade, weak sauce interpretations of events that just occur in life.
I love
and
it.
practicing upgrading the way that I think about them so that I can actually create, and this is cool, that I can actually create something excellent out of the problem that I would have never been able to even entertain if it wasn't for the problem itself.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's a lot what I say actually in my story, is that I'm not grateful for the moment of loss that occurred in my life, but I am grateful for the tragedy because it's brought me to where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's only for one reason. It's because, Shalise, you choose to create from it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't do that. They choose to go the opposite direction and have that govern them and use that event as the excuse for their continuing dis-ease.
Yep.
And isn't it amazing that our brains work in that it's easier to go the opposite direction than it is the right direction?
It's just because of practice. I don't believe that's like, I don't think, the little girl,
Yeah.
she has yet to be educated to experience the world problematically. So her default response to walking home from school is damn joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I conducted an experiment when I was first getting into this whole, when I was a social worker and I was really thinking about doing mental toughness training as a career and work with athletes. I did a little informal experiment. I can't really call it an experiment, but it's like a survey. I stood on the 18th hole of a golf course, right? It was a Saturday in the summertime, and it was a father-son tournament day. So there were lots of kids and parents and adults around. And I asked everybody that came off of 18 green, "Hey, how'd it go?" And I had one clipboard for adult responses and one clipboard for child responses, meaning like 9 years old and younger. And there was a T-chart, plus minus, and I would just put a check mark if they said something positive under the plus and check mark on the minus column if they said something unpleasant. So I asked everybody, how'd it go? Totally open-ended question. Now you know where I'm going with this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that was my hypothesis, which is that the kids would have more positive responses. What I didn't realize is how profoundly, deeply, and sincerely, almost embarrassingly, more positive responses. I'll give you some examples. Well, first of all, the adults all said tragic things, like things, something inappropriate. I'm like, your kid can hear you. Like, it's right there.
Come on.
That's horrible things. And then, but it's like the adults the only adults that said really positive things were either ones who had unusually good scoring days or really old dudes, which is interesting.
Yes.
Old guys came back full circle. But the kids, let me give you 3 of my favorite responses from the kids. The kids' responses were mind-blowingly enthusiastic. One kid said, "I made a putt," and I'm a total stranger to this kid. I'm like, hey, kiddo, how'd it go? He goes, I made a putt on number 2 that was like 100 feet long. It's total bullshit, but whatever. I mean, he made a long putt, which is great. And that was 4.5 hours ago. That was 4.5 hours ago. And the very first thing that arises in his field of consciousness was a success story, an inspired memory. That was automatic for him. He didn't have to try. I didn't say, kid, do your best, work hard here, work with me. Just try to think of something good you did today. That wasn't the question. It's like, how'd it go? First thing, amazing. Other kids said, oh, I finally saw the snapping turtle in the pond on number 12. It's like the size of my dog. I always thought you guys were lying. And that's in a water feature that adults call a hazard.
Yeah.
Like
I've hit many balls in those.
Yeah. Right. So then, but my favorite of all the responses was this kid who said, I hit the ball so far off of 16 tee box, it went in the lake.
Wow.
And he fist pumped. Like I hit the ball in the bay. And so let's slow that down. I hit the ball so far that it went in the bay.
Which would tick off most golfers.
His dad's playing with him. His dad hits first from back tees, and he walks up into the fairway so he can watch his son hit. Kid goes up to the front tees. And he hits it on the sweet spot. And when you know, if you're a golfer and you catch it on a screws, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he hit it. And he's like, oh, go. Meanwhile, the dad's like, oh, shit, get down. And it goes in the lake. And the dad's like, God. Poor kid finally catches one on the screws and he gets screwed. And the kid's like, Dad, did that go in the water? He's like, yeah. He's like, you swear? the kid never hit it that far before, so it's like obvious evidence of mastery development.
Yeah.
That's his auto response to that. I mean, he's not going, oh shit, I got a penalty. He's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do I need to go back to I guess I'll go back to the men's tees from now on because the big boy. Yeah. So it's one event interpreted two completely distinct ways. So this is all the way back, Al, to your point. The reason I did this experiment is because my hypothesis was that our default response to reality is in fact enthusiasm. Maybe not 100% of the time, but a lot. Like, I think more than anything else. Enthusiasm, by the way, the word itself, comes from the Greek word entheos, which means the creator within. Theos, creator, en, within, entheos, enthusiasm. I am convinced from all of my 3 decades of working with human beings and helping them create excellence, I'm convinced that enthusiasm is our default response. We are then educated to experience reality problematically. The good news is we can turn that back around.
Yeah.
Good practice.
I love it, man. I wish we did have more time, Chris, to be honest with you, because we do want to respect your time, but I believe we could probably go another hour with this stuff because this is really good.
Awesome.
Hopefully here down the road we could have you back on the show because things like this, I mean, all our shows are very important to us, and the information that's shared is very, very good information. It's helping a lot of people, but I think what Chris has talked about today is something that we're all fighting. Whether we're on the side of the addiction or the other side of the addiction, it doesn't matter. What he was working with us today can be used for all of us.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Just want to say thank you, Chris, so much for your time. Thank you for the exercises that you did for us. It opened all our eyes, all 6 eyes here. It opened it up. And we're just very blessed and very grateful to have you with us today. So thank you so much.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's my pleasure. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate the invitation. Thanks, Laban, for the introduction.
Yes, absolutely.
And, Al, Janessa, and Shalise, this has been actually really, really, really fun.
It has
been. I appreciate your insights, your thoughts, your contributions in this amazingly fun dialogue, which gives me the opportunity to fulfill my actual legacy, which is, I don't have kids and I'm not going to. So my legacy will not be my children or my nuclear family. It is, in fact, my content, and you have helped me create some more of it today. And there's nothing in the world more important to me than that. So thank you.
Well, thank you, because you're helping us grow what we want to grow on this site as well. So, yeah, thank you so much. Guys, again, thank you, everybody. Thank you to all our sponsors, our platinum sponsors, Matter Behavioral. Thank you to all our listeners. And just all the support that we are getting. I'm still in awe of how far this show has gone in just a year's time. And we finally hit our year, which I just don't believe it. It seems like we just started this 3 months ago. So we're going to leave you with this as we do at the end of every show. Remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing. Recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.
Good morning, this is Leticia with Computer Hospital. We are your computer repair experts for both PC and Mac. We are your community resource for all of your computer repair needs. What makes us different is that we want to fix your computer. We also do free diagnostics. We charge a flat rate labor, which means that you won't pay by the hour. All of our computer repair is done in-house with a fast turnaround time, and same-day service is also available. Feel free to stop by anytime without an appointment. We're located in Sandy at 8721 South State Street. Again, that's 8721 South State Street, or call us at 801-987-3993. Again, that's 801-987-3993. This is Leticia with Computer Hospital, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Hello there, this is Brad Neufeld with the Resilience Talk Network, and I would like to introduce to you Taffytown, one of our newest sponsors. Let me introduce you to Derek.
Hi, I'm Derek from Taffytown. We're proud sponsors of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Taffytown is a family-owned and operated business still operating in the Salt Lake City area for over 100 years. We manufacture some of America's best saltwater taffy.
What makes Taffytown stand out from all of the others?
We have a unique recipe, a whipped-style recipe that incorporates egg whites, evaporated milk, real sea salt. It's a unique product that is flavorful, melts in your mouth, and the best part is we probably have a flavor for anyone's liking, a flavor for any reason, for any season. We have unique flavors like chicken and waffles, maple bacon, frosted cupcake. New this year was a pineapple ghost pepper flavor.
That's awesome. Where can people find out more about Taffytown and all of its products?
You can check all of this stuff out. All of our products are available for sale on taffytown.com. We ship for free from our website, so all of our pricing on there is shipping included. Oftentimes we offer special promotions and discounts to our loyal customers, so do be sure to sign up for an account. And we look forward to seeing what we can do to make you smile with our taffy.
Where are you located?
We are currently located at 9813 South Prosperity Road in West Jordan, Utah, just at the foothills of the Copper Canyon mine.
Derek, taffy has always been a great gift to give. What are some of the creative ways Taffytown can help say thank you to others?
Yeah, if you're looking for gift ideas, whether to say thank you to friends or family, or maybe to your clients after such a difficult or successful year that you've had, you could look no further than to get a gift idea from taffytown.com. We offer pre-packaged gift boxes that say that it's saltwater taffy from the city of the Great Salt Lake, and it tells a little bit about the history of our community and making candy for so long. You can also do customized gifts to pick out just the right flavors or colors of candy for that special someone and deliver even a personalized message in that box to them. So please feel free to check out taffytown.com for any gift ideas this season.
Thank you so much, Derek. Please visit taffytown.com, that's taffytown.com, to find out more about the products and services that Taffytown offers. You won't be disappointed.
Do you know someone who's gambling with death due to an addiction? Do you know someone whose life is being turned upside down due to a loved one that's battling with addiction? Hi, I'm Al Richards. I am the host of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I started the podcast due to my wife's battle with alcohol. Let's just say I became addicted to her addiction. Our podcast is helping people understand a little more about those who have battled addiction and those who are hurting from their addiction. Through raw vulnerability, we share stories that help uncover the root causes of addiction. Shame felt on both sides, matter of the conscious and subconscious mind, continued beliefs, and often confusing paths of recovery. We collaborate with real people and their stories, as well as licensed professionals, to help our audience gain a better understanding of addiction. You can find us on Resilience Talk Network. You can also find us on Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. That's Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look up the Other Side of Addiction podcast.